Welcome to the Northern Premier League, Premier Division.
Give him go! Go on! Now wide! Great, that's all. Come on, boys! Boys! Come on! Come on! Send him back, Rob! Send him back! Send him back! Good lad, well done, mate. Help him post him!
This is your moment. Yes! Oh! Bloody hell! Sugar Plum Fairy!
do the honours once again, but just from our point of view, thought it was a great game.
Yeah, we did. We thought that was the best game we've seen overall. I mean, I know that in the end the result wasn't what we wanted, but it was a great game to be watching.
Yeah, no, it did. It felt like a proper game of football, didn't it? We started really well. Probably the best we've started. I think the Gainsborough game was a really good first half from us, but the fact that we had the 2 goals is something obviously we haven't done this season. So to get to a position obviously where we scored the 2 goals, and obviously they were good goals as well, with particularly some work we'd done around how we felt we could hurt them for the first one, albeit obviously from a second contact, but Tyrese getting in behind them and crossing into a good area. And then obviously the second one came from the left hand side, which obviously eventually came to Tyrese, and I think it was an instinctive decision to obviously take the shot as he did, and he probably had a great angle of it up here. I caressed it his way into the top corner. It was a fantastic goal. I'm really pleased for him, because obviously last week was his first start, and he's definitely one that's going to need that run of games and that, you know, to gather that momentum. But you know, he did well at Stafford Rangers last season, you know, which is why we brought him in, and we know what he's capable of doing. We've just not been able to get him quite up to speed with a few little niggly issues that have been occurring. So obviously, yeah, half time we were well aware of what was likely to happen. I actually said at half time I expect they might match us up, and lo and behold, 5 minutes into the second half, the 3 subs came on, and they did. They went to a back 3. They couldn't live with us in the first half in terms of how we were finding the space in midfield with the extra player, and then obviously when they tried to condense that space, it created obviously opportunities for us to get around the outsides of them. So tactically, you know, we were spot on. A lot of credit's got to go to the boys for that. And listen, they do what they do very, very well. When they have the 2 centre forwards on as a pair, they make you defend. We've shown them plenty of clips this week on understanding that you're going to have to defend. And you know, the 2 goals obviously quite similar in their nature, with obviously deep crosses coming into areas we've just not quite been able to handle. But you know, in reality, would we have stood up to the test in a few weeks ago like we did today? And then obviously, you know, in the last 10 minutes, as strong as finished the game as strong as we did, with obviously hitting the bar twice in about a minute, and then obviously Grice getting the opportunity, which obviously would have been a fitting way for him to finish with us, obviously given the news this week. But I have just seen a flag that said 250 goals and 500 appearances, so that flag would have had to have been remade if he'd scored,
Maybe fitting that it ended in that way for him personally anyway. But yes, I mean, the great thing for us was that the impetus went with Hebburn for much of the second half, but you withstood that and you did finish the game very, very strongly, as you say.
I feel like the group's together. I feel there's a real togetherness. I felt it for the last couple of weeks, and I think the performance last week was an indication of that. You know, because again, last week we felt like we should have won the game, but when we were under the cosh, we found a way of sticking on in there, even when it comes to clearances off the line that Port's made, and then the big save from Dino. So I feel like there's a togetherness amongst the group. Obviously, there's been an incredible amount of change, and when you've got, you know, a squad of 20 plus players at the moment, but a group that's all brand new, pretty much, that's had to come together, even the ones that were at the club last year. I mean, there's no player that's obviously now at the club with Grice moving on that's been at the club longer than I have, and I've only been here a little over 12 months. So, you know, that tells you, you know, how new we are and that we're going through a transition period, as well as having to try and, you know, compete and learn about a new league and the challenges that brings. But I just said to the lads in there, as disappointed as we'll be with the fact that we were 2-0 up and didn't get 3 points, I think it stands us in really good stead for the remaining 27 games, that if we can maintain our levels now, and that's the level of spirit and togetherness, that I think that, you know, we can go and, you know, we can definitely go and hopefully pick up some more points against teams, you know, in the coming weeks.
Owen Windsor had a sort of cameo appearance towards the end. He's obviously a new signing. To me, he looked as though he'd got a bit of something, but he's probably lacking, you know, he's not played properly this season.
That's exactly it. He hasn't played a minute this season. I thought initially he came on obviously as a centre forward in place of Max, which is definitely where I think he feels, you know, he can do his most damage. But equally, when we obviously dropped him into that little deeper position when Grice came on, I felt like he had some really positive moments there. Actually, the cross that he put in, that their defenders headed out for the corner really, really well. Actually, Grice was hovering on the back post, and if the defender hadn't made that intervention, you know, you'd put your money on Grice putting that header in. And obviously from that resulting corner, Owen hit the bar himself. So yeah, he sprinkled a few moments of quality into the game, I felt. And yeah, he'll take a little bit of time to get up to speed, naturally. Obviously he has been active, but not match sharp. So yeah, we're really pleased with the acquisition, and I think the quality amongst the group is strong. As I've said, we've got a squad of over 20 at this moment in time, with obviously the number of injuries we've been carrying. We've had to obviously bolster the numbers, and when those start to come back in, which I think I've said to you last week, by the game against FC United, some of those should come back. And I failed to mention last week Ollie Hayward, because he was a fresh injury, and obviously he's missing again today. But again, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time he should be fit. So we may have 3 or 4 bodies potentially back in, of the sort of 6 or 7 that are currently out. So you know, it's going to make for a very competitive environment.
And it's going to make you, with that sort of decision making, that who's going to start the games, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're the problems, the nice problems that you want as a manager, where you know you have to make tough decisions and decide who you're going to play, and then know that you're going to turn around, look at your bench, and go, we've got real options. You know, I felt like again today we had options to come into the game, with sort of different skill sets to come into the game. That hasn't always been the case in games this season, which I think you've referred to. So I think we're looking at, we're in a position now where we've got quality to come into the game as well, which is really important at this level.
And how near is Tom Scully to a start, if you wanted him to start?
Yeah, I think with Scully, we've obviously been very patient with him, and he's been really patient with us as well. Naturally, obviously, the time that he had out, you know, it does take you know, time to get back up to speed. And what he does obviously offer, and he showed last week, and again in moments today, is the quality when he gets faced forward, his ability to put balls in behind the opposition back line that, you know, create opportunities. We saw that obviously numerous times last year. So yeah, no, I mean, I feel like at this point he probably could start. But I thought Ports and Lucas as a pair worked well last week. I thought again they've done well, you know, today in the game, and again they've got a decent balance there with the right and left foot. One probably a little bit more physical than the other. One who can get on the ball in those deeper areas and sort of can give us that control in the game. So I feel like there's a nice balance in there at this moment in time. And obviously Hayden and Shentz, advanced of that, you know, we're obviously 2 players that you can give the ball anywhere to, and they deal with the ball incredibly well. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have someone like Scully at the moment, who's obviously having to make do with making cameo 20, 25, 30 minute appearances. But yeah, of course he's going to want to start games soon enough, and he absolutely will get that opportunity before long, of course. And
you've got the luxury of Scully to come in, but you won't have the luxury of a Tim Grice to put on from now on. Go on, give us your last word on Tim Grice.
Yeah, well, I was asked to give a statement earlier on in the week when obviously the news was announced, and I think that, you know, it's hard for me to really put into words the achievement. You know, like I said, I've been here for 15, 16 months. It's like, you know, the guy's done 13 years. It's ridiculous, 500 appearances in one club, but not only that, to actually have played 500 games and score that many goals is just outstanding. And you know, we're sad and happy in equal measure. You know, we're happy for him to have made that achievement. We're happy that he's going to be moving on sort of in his own terms, under his own terms, you know, and making that decision himself. He feels that, you know, that's the right thing for him at this stage of his career, and we respect that. We'd have obviously loved for him to be with us. You know, even again today, he's had his moment at the top end of the pitch, but he went on, and 3 or 4 times when the ball's going into your box, he's an extra defender. He's just such an asset in your own box as well. So yeah, of course, you know, we're going to be, you know, incredibly sad to see him move on and not play a competitive game in a Leek Town shirt again. But of course, he'll get the well-earned testimonial at the back end of the season, which you know, obviously will be an occasion for him and all the fans to look forward to.
I will ask him when I interview him in a minute or two, but I think he's leaving Leek Town in a good position now.
Yeah, I think he will say that. Obviously, there's been an incredible amount of transition but without wanting to speak on his behalf, you know, when we chatted a couple of weeks ago, you know, he was very complimentary about the group of players that we've got. Feels that, you know, in the time he's been at the club, the technical capabilities within the group is as high as it's ever been. And yeah, I feel like we've got the basis of a really strong team. And yeah, obviously, listen, we've got to continue to put points on the board and performances like today, and make sure that we finish on the right side of that result. And obviously, yeah, I'll be staying in touch with Grice, and no doubt he'll be making himself visible down here as and when he can do.
Josh, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on you, the Moorlands Radio sports team. Listen, we're not going to lie, you are one of our favourites. 500 games, 250 goals. Well done, son.
Tim, good luck wherever you turn up. It's been a pleasure commentating on your goals. You are Mr. Leek Town.
Mr. Leek Town, he still owes me money for that documentary. I've still not been paid, but good luck. You've been great for Leek. Be great for whoever you go to next.